What's up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav show on the JP and Trav YouTube channel and also live from Travis's X. As always, it's your host with the most, JP. And to my right, I have my esteemed brother, co-host, and friend, Travis J. Davison. Travis, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm good here in good old Tunica, Mississippi. I am at the Horseshoe here. Hung out with my buddy Derek a little while, played a little video poker, had a little greasy cheeseburger on my way up. Everything's good. Had a little radio from the hotel room, which was great. And then I'll head to Augusta tomorrow, and then we'll play a little golf on Friday, watch a football game on Saturday, and then head on back, hopefully after a big win. But super excited about our guest. I couldn't even believe you were like, man, I thought maybe he'll come on. I know he's super busy, but man, I shot him a DM. Who knows? So I'm glad that our guest is an equal opportunity guest, willing to come up and hang out with us a little bit. So, Chris, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. So I want to address one thing or two things, really. When I saw that it said Tunica Trav, I was so legitimately concerned that was like what your actual nickname was. And I was like, we have some issues that we have to talk about, like off air. But I'm so glad that you're just in Tunica. I think like that is your real name.
Just temporary. Yeah.
Okay,
and I love alliteration. Yeah. I love alliteration. So Tunica Trav made sense.
Same. Dude, playing at Augusta. I'm assuming you're not playing at Augusta National. If you are, I'm on my way. But also my whole family on my dad's side, we're from Anniston, Alabama. My mom's side lives in Columbia, South Carolina. Stepdad is from Augusta. Grew up across the street from the Augusta National. Like they had a grocery store around there. So you'll have a blast. Washington Road is fantastic. That Hooters, top notch, brother. Top notch Hooters off Washington Road, exit 199.
Yeah, that's John Daly's go-to spot when he's down there. So I will actually be playing Champions Retreat.
Okay.
So my buddy lives on there. He's a good friend of mine. Hosted me a couple times. So yeah, excited. Not playing Augusta National, unfortunately. Tough. But I like Champions Retreat. I'm not a great golfer, so there's a little less pressure on me. So that's nice. So but yeah, I know John Daly rents out to, or makes all this money by being at that Hooters during the Masters. So
I don't know how
I'm sure they've got all kinds of legends there.
Even more white trash than I told you off air, but I had my 4th birthday party at that Hooters. So, wow. An appropriate response, not an appropriate setting for a 4-year-old. There was no Chuck E. Cheese around. Like, what are we doing here, Mom? First stepdad was not a great dude.
Fourth birthday.
Or the greatest dude. We'll see. Anyways, appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so we'll get right into it.
Yeah, Chris, really quick, man, before we hop into a few things, obviously we'll talk about a little bit, give you some space to talk about, your guys' game at LSU.
Yeah.
Obviously we're both coming off of disappointing losses for sure. But you've been making the rounds, on OU media. And so, talk to us a little bit about some of the other shows you've been on. Obviously, we're big fans of Teddy and Gabe over at Oklahoma Breakdown. They're 2 Oklahoma legends, and a lot of Sooners fans love that they talk as much as they do about OU football.
Yeah, no, it was wild because it's like I've done Feinbaum and I do like a weekly hit like on Sirius and those are fun things, but like it's also really fun to get into like the nitty gritty with like opposing like media and fans and the OU thing. I had this like soft spot in my heart for OU because I hated Florida State growing up so much that 2000, I think it was it 2000, the national championship, right? Mm-hmm. That was like, yes, thank God. And like I've always had, I grew up in a family full of Bama fans, so the color scheme was always there. I remember the Teddy Lehman thing against Texas, but more than anything, I'm not saying this to be appeasing or placating you guys. I hate Texas media so much. It's so bad. It's just so like it's the most self-involved group of people. Like talking about Texas fans. So I wouldn't say as distraught last week as you guys were, but I do have this very real soft spot for Oklahoma. It's been a lot of fun. Like talking to Teddy and Gabe, that was a lot of fun. Was excited to do this show. I did one for Voice over college football. yesterday as well with a guy like basically the same last name, Josh Marler.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But no, it's been great. I'm excited about this game. I wish it wasn't a 12:45 kick. Wish there was a little more juice involved with it after what happened last week, and obviously the long struggles of South Carolina, and that kind of stuff as well. But I mean, it's an interesting game for so many reasons and things that I feel like I keep picking up more info on Oklahoma throughout the week that I didn't know that I probably should know. It's my job to cover the opposing team, but like, just there's a lot of intriguing storylines going into this game, so I'm really excited for it, man.
Yeah. Beamer guy. When I went there for, what was it, a couple years ago? I guess Rattler was the starter. So anyways, a couple years ago, I went because once I learned we were going to the SEC, I was like, I'm going to use our bye weeks to just go to as many SEC games as I can. So
Nice.
Came to the Florida, South Carolina game. I think Graham Mertz might have been the quarterback.
Yeah,
anyways,
Ricky Pearsall.
and yep. So came to that game, and I was right by the cock walk. I don't know if we're going to get demonetized or anything, but they use the word cock in everything. It's a bit like, it's crazy around here. It's like, or around there, it's the cock walk, and you walk by the cockabooses, and everything is everything. Go Cox, everything. Like, they lean into it hard.
Dude, I host Locked On Gamecocks. Do you have any idea how many months it took to, like, the alliteration of that to not screw that up? Like, Locked On Cox, like, it was a tough. I mean, you know,
it's right there. It's
My
right
family
there.
me out.
Yeah, it's right there. You got to take it. Locked On Cox would have done numbers. The merch sales, everything like that. Oh, you would have killed it. So, but I mean, even the old hats. I don't know if you guys are old enough. I'm probably the elder statesman here, but the one that So the white one with it, because they had like the banana slugs. They had that. They had the peckers. They had all kinds of them.
The beavers.
Yep, the beavers. So. But yeah, it's always been funny. And then so Beamer was doing the cock walk, and I had an OU polo on. So he looks up, sees me, gives me a very loud boomer while doing the cock walk, which of course is all recorded. All the video guys are there doing the gives me a big boomer chant, and I'm like, dude, this guy's the coolest guy ever. So
he's awesome.
Love Shane Beamer. I won't be rooting for him this weekend, but I root for him every other weekend.
Yeah, no, I like him a lot. Also, I want to preface one thing, because I know I just crapped on Texas fans pretty hard. Ghost of Texas football is one of my favorite people in general. So I just want to be outside of him.
No.
He's a friend of our show too.
There's a reason he's tuned in. There's a reason he's tuned in. I go on Inside Texas with him. He's an awesome dude. Cord's one of the best dudes out there. But he totally expects, like, we're gonna shit on Texas all the time. Like, and he knows that, and he's wildly comfortable with it. So continue to shit on Texas. They just got the win, so shit them all you want. I mean, it's
fair. That's also
he's got the ultimate trump card over us, so it's all good.
I think the thing with Beamer too is that he's like, if you're not around it, you don't like it as much, and I get it. Like, it's like if he rubs people the wrong way, but like with South Carolina especially, man, this is a fan base. Like I haven't always covered South Carolina. I've covered the SEC for about 9 years, but I haven't covered South Carolina until about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I have family that lives there. My mom's a pastor, believe it or not, in Lexington, which is like one town over. I love Columbia a lot. It's hot as hell, but I love Columbia a lot. If you're going to the game, I'm going to tell you right now, do not expect to leave within 1 to 2 hours because the traffic in and out is miserable. But it's a great town, and it's a great fan base that, like, they get dejected and they feel dismissed and disrespected constantly. And that is just the life of like that fan base. But they still show up every single week. They're like a more fun, less fake religious Auburn. Like they're like a fun Auburn. Like they show up every week, no matter what. They will be there. Look, if the game's at 12:45, they will be in those seats by 12. They're ready for Sandstorm. They're ready for 2001. The Cockaboose thing. The Cockaboose thing is pretty sick, by the way. If you've ever been in one of those things,
it's awesome. Like I wish more universities had that kind of setup. So for those the uninitiated, actually, it's your territory. I will let you describe the Cockabooses to everybody.
It's in the shadows of the stadium, and it's like for like some of the best or biggest boosters and stuff like that. But like for those of you unfamiliar with like the setup there, it's away from downtown and away from campus. It's probably about a mile and a half away. Maybe not that far, but you are in the fairgrounds is like on one side, which is where the students are. On the opposite side of that, you get the fairgrounds. The fairgrounds is like literally where the state fair is. Then you have like on the side, they have like all the tailgating stuff they've set up and kind of renovated the past couple years. On the other side of that, it used to just be the fairgrounds and the cockabooses. And it was like basically like the rich and not the poors, but like the rich and then like the not as rich. But it's just literally it's a cockaboose. It is a train car. I don't know how to explain it other than the boxcar children, because that's about where my reading stopped when they stopped giving us free personal pan pizzas for our reading when we were in 4th grade. But that whole thing, it's like very expensive to get one, but it's awesome. And you walk in and it's like a train car. They have bars and rooms and then bathrooms and a rooftop bar. We actually did a tailgate with like Austin Kroll from Southern Charm on one of them, and it was like I didn't know how he was in a fantasy football league with me. I didn't know he was like a popular person, and then it was one of the most fun days I've ever had. It was a great time. If you get over there, at least walk by it, check it out. It's really cool.
No, they're like double-decker train cars with like spiral staircases up the side and open. They're very cool, and it's like it would be like where our like Heisman Park is. I know South Carolina doesn't have one of those. Not many schools do, but we have just a whole park full of all of our Heisman winners. It takes up a lot of space, and we got a lot of them. But anyways, like that's how close it is to the stadium. It's pretty crazy. But no, I'm glad traffic takes so long because I'm already doing 90 minutes of post-game radio from the tailgating lot. So maybe I'll be able to convince some people to hang around, after the game.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And the State Fair obviously is in town.
Is it?
So, yes.
Brother, they will fry anything. You could bring them a Reebok with like the little pump sole from like 1994. They'll fry the shit out of that, dude. They will fry anything.
Yep. So the traffic's going to be even crazier than usual. So really looking forward to that. So we'll be tailgating a little bit before, but as the road team, I'm glad it's an early game. I don't need all those students getting all riled up at the fair, full of fried food and liquor and just no. I don't need that. I don't need that. Just early game, bring them in sleepy, everything like that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if I'm being honest about the South Carolina side of this, and you guys know my allegiances, and I want South Carolina to win this game. There's a very good chance that this is they will show up at 12. They are ready to go. You're amped up. But if you don't show signs of life and you don't keep this thing close, there's a real chance it's not empty by the second half, but it's a beaten down fan base and it's a dejected fan base. And it's one of those things too, where it's like, you got to start showing some attempt at signs of life and commitment to like some sort of like intention to change or at least do things differently. Like I'm all about knowing your identity and who you are. And again, they were 3-3. I don't know if I said it on this show, but I've said it like 1,000 times this week, but like they were 3-3 last season at this point, and they went on the six straight wins. Like, so I'm going to give myself, I keep saying, a one more week of delusion to think they could possibly do that again. If they don't, like, and you see the same type of Mike Shula offensive output, which is less than subpar, really bad on third downs. You're constantly behind the chains. You're not throwing the ball. You're not able to effectively run the football. And you look at the end of the game, and it's like 330 yards of offense and 17 points again. If that's the trend that they're on, that stadium will be a lot different than it is at kickoff.
Chris, the reason
what is it? Go ahead. Well, what you bring up changes and things like that. Like, if you were in charge, if you were AD, what's the first thing you would change?
If I was AD, probably the Cox thing. That's aggressive in 2025. Maybe the Fighting Chickens. I don't know, something a little bit more appropriate. No, I think if I was, I wouldn't say the AD thing. If I was Shula, or I'm sorry, if I was Beamer, the first thing I would do is I'd probably have a real conversation with Shula, and I would say, "This is it. Like this is your last chance." Because again, Dowell Loggins, there's precedence for this. I did a show on it for the Locked On show after the sixth game last year, and I'm old or just stupid or whatever. My whole process is I write everything down in a notebook and a number 2 pencil. It has to be a red label because I'm a little bit OCD with that. and I write down everything in pencil and I look at it. Then that's just how I am able to process information. I write down this whole thing, 30 plus different stats of offense, and they're ranked 13th or worse in 23 of them in the SEC. That was last year. Then I did it again this year, and you're ranked 14th or worse, and I think it was like, I want to say it was like 12 of 15 stats offensively. It was like, and like important stats. The only thing you ranked in the top 50 in the country on offense going to last week was yards per attempt. But again, yards per game, for total yards per game, passing yards per game, rushing yards per game, sacks allowed, tackles for loss. Everyone looks at that Oklahoma game last year, and I'm going to get on a soapbox, so now I'm fired up. But like, you had 9 sacks against Oklahoma. No one wants to talk about the fact they gave up 7. So I have a very real conversation with Mike Shula, and I say, this is your last chance to show me something. Because if you lose this game, you are staring at 4-8 right in the face. You've got Bama, at Ole Miss, at Texas A&M, Coastal Carolina, not in baseball, thank God, and then Clemson at home. And so it's like, you're looking at 4-8 potentially in the face. I don't see where you get 6 wins there. Maybe you sneak up on Bama, but I don't think you do after a loss. So I just look at him and I say, if that doesn't happen, then we have to make some changes. And there's nobody really else on staff right now they feel comfortable with like turning the play calling duties over to. But you have to show me some sort of a commitment and intentional like action that you're trying to make things better. That's what they did this week when they fired the offensive line coach, moved over Sean Elliott, the former head coach at Georgia State. I love that move. But it's like the play. Like, listen, here's the best example for it here. Like they're really bad at self-inflicted penalties, and that's been a whole problem. Sellers, you can say he holds on to the ball too long, but he also is running for his life. I don't know if you guys saw the stat. Last week he had 22 carries for 19 yards. He ran for 894 yards across the field from like that's an actual metric. I swear to God, I'm not making that up. That is I've never heard of anything like that. And so he's running for his life. And then, but out of all those things that I just mentioned, very emotionally and angrily, you have 4th and 4 down 7 against LSU on the road with a chance to keep the game alive and to try and figure out a way to like convert a first and keep the game going, keep the drive alive. You throw on man coverage on Mansour Delane, who's the best defensive back, I think, in all of college football this season, a 5-yard dig route at him. That's stupid as shit. That's just so bad. So that's my 5-minute soapbox spiel of just being very angry. I appreciate it letting me vent. Usually I do it with my therapist on Thursdays. This was very helpful.
You are where honestly, and I'm sure you've heard this through the week, but it sounds like you guys, especially on offense, are where a lot of Oklahoma fans are right now. You know, obviously we had a catastrophically bad offensive year last year, to which was, to your guys' credit, when you visited Norman, right? The game was over within, a few minutes.
6 minutes,
yeah. I was actually in Charlotte at the time, visiting a friend. We had a wedding, and so I'm like, I'm in the Carolinas. I'm watching. I'm feeling the vibes, everything like that. Turn on the TV, and I'm like,
see, that was tough.
Within 5 minutes, the game is done. It's over. Yeah. And like you said, the maybe your offensive performance gets overshadowed in that game because it looks like a blowout, and the defense scored 21 points basically. So I am interested to see how this dynamic goes. Let me ask you really quick, just how you felt. I know you talked about it a little bit, but just how you felt overall about the LSU game. Yeah. And I'm going to give Trav and I a second just to hit on the Texas game for a second, because I know some people in the comments want us to. They're upset. They want to talk about Texas.
So listen, let's be fair. Why don't you guys talk about Texas first? Because I don't want to I know that's more important. It's y'all's show, and I know that I just spent 5 minutes talking about the offensive line coach being fired. So I will Uno reverse it back to you guys. You guys go ahead.
Yeah, they want our offensive line coach.
So Chris, So Chris, part of the reason that they want to talk about Texas is not because they have a lot of thoughts about Texas. Yeah. Part of the reason is because we are very supportive of certain coaches on staff. Okay. And maybe some of those coaches maybe their units didn't have the best day against Texas.
You want me to be
what they're hoping for, is some type of apology from us that we led them astray, or us admitting that, we need this or that guy fired. Like that's really why they want to get to Texas.
Dr. Shin went to Texas and nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Was that the guy's name? The guy that had the whole thumb thing with.
He went to Brown. He went to Brown undergrad. I promise you, he went to Brown.
He actually went to Texas. I found out this week. I'm the whistleblower. I'm making that up. That's not real.
Man, I was about to say. I was like, I died because somebody brought that up on the text line when I was on the radio, and I did like a deep dive into his education and background, like for that very reason.
Somebody made. I saw what's my favorite offense guys.
Chains?
Eddie is my
nuts.
all-time favorite Oklahoma guy. But the shirt, let's get into this.
Let's go ahead and talk a little. Obviously, John Material had a terrible,
ugly.
He didn't look anything like he's looked the entire year. I don't care who you talk to. People say what they want. He was and obviously I don't think it was his hand. It was just he made bad decisions.
It was eyes. He made terrible decisions. He tried to turn the ball over like 4 or 5 times, maybe 6 times. I can't believe Texas screwed up that like fumble.
What was this one? What was that one about?
That was at the end of the half.
This is right before the half, bro. And it's not even like this was bad, but in the context of it, it's even worse because we were driving with like a minute, right? We were driving, and so we're thinking, okay, we're moving the ball, and we're thinking, okay, like we may be able to score a touchdown here before the end, of the half, and then I think we did a running play for like 2 or 3 yards or something like that, and then we let the clock run for like 25 seconds.
Well, part of it was we've got a really disjointed offense right now from a personnel perspective, because our best receiving tight end can't block worth a crap.
Right.
Our best blocking tight end can't run routes. Our best running back, like dynamic runner, can't block. Our best blocking running back can't run. Like it's just like our line can pass block, but they can't run block. Like it's just you have to sub out so much that you get out of rhythm. And then once you sub somebody in late in the game, then of course the other team's like, all right, we're going to just slow sub in, and it wastes 20 seconds off the clock. So it's, it takes us out of our rhythm a lot.
I was in the LSU press box when this game was going on, and it was
nice press box at LSU, by the way. Very nice.
This is the only, I think it's the only like school press box I've been in. I've done like bowl games and stuff, but I that's the first one I've like been in from that. Like, I like it. It's a lot of fun. But the whole thing is I saw this and it was like, also, Trav, did you get the mini bar? What's going on over there?
Oh, so I picked these up when I was actually in New Hope, Pennsylvania, but they're white cheddar flavored fried garlic. So I realized they're a little crunchy. So
fried garlic?
Yeah.
So JP's right. JP's right. I thought you were covering your nose. That's a strong move. I like it.
The girlfriend's not on the trip with me, so that's why I can eat a whole bag of fried garlic.
I've never heard of fried garlic anyway. Selling it in bag form sounds wild to me. It sounds like it doesn't surprise me, in America in general, but especially in Pennsylvania. No, so watching this game, it was like I had the lens that I was watching it through was like 6-3, I think, and but it felt like y'all were still in control, mainly because the defense is so good. I just didn't expect Texas to really do anything. The moment that pass was intercepted and ran back for a touchdown, obviously, it became very quickly like I still had a lot of faith that you guys would be able to come back and win the game. But the 2 scores that you were down, especially against Texas defense, to give them credit, it felt like that was completely over at that point. And that was a scary thing. I feel like it's a scary thing to be in a situation like that when your offense is that good and that explosive at times, but to also have that feeling of an insurmountable lead, even though it's only 2 scores, just because of the way Texas was playing and the way the offense played for Oklahoma. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was just a bad situation in totality. And that second one that we were talking about right here, like the clock managers, like I think as a whole, and again, Trav explained it, but as a whole, people were frustrated. Like, hey, like if you're gonna go for the field goal, man, like just don't throw a pick.
Right.
Like let's go into the half 9-3, have some semblance of momentum, but instead we like are pussyfooting around and we're like in between, and then we have 10 seconds and it seemed like we made a desperation throw and it got picked and there's nothing to show for it. Right. And then this third one right here is, he just was a little bit late. Again, it's a iffy throw. It's not like the worst throw in the world, but it's behind him enough to where he tips it and it's just unlucky. It tipped right into his hand. But that's the way the game was going at that point. And to what you said earlier, it felt like maybe we had an opportunity until this punt return happened, which is it's very controversial because there was an not even alleged, I'm not even saying alleged, an obvious block in the back that happened here on the sideline right there. That didn't get called. And at this point, the game was effectively over, right? Because our offense had been completely stalemated to this point. And now you're going down 2 scores, like you said. Taylor Wine, number 44, gets blocked in the back right there. They actually talked to the SEC office about that. I don't know how you missed that. I mean, that's
well, cool. Guys, if we're being honest, Oklahoma not getting the benefit of a call. I have an Auburn fiance, so I'm I'm legally obligated to disagree with this take because she's in the other room.
Hey, look, I mean, the plays against Auburn.
If I didn't do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The plays against Auburn, the hideout tactic, all that. I still think. I mean, Oklahoma cleared it throughout the week, cleared it all this, that, and the other. The egregious Auburn call is very much just the Jackson Arnold over the goal line against Georgia that that didn't get called touchdown. That is way more egregious than anything that happened with Oklahoma. So. But regardless, the way our offense was not moving the ball, thing, I was like, once this happened, I was like, all right, this is definitely over. But even the 1-score game, it was like, man, we just can't move the ball right now.
Yeah, you also can't give up. This is the Auburn part of it, and I know making your wife watch Jackson Arnold should be labeled spousal abuse is a lot. But also, I don't disagree with it. Like, there's also the overthrows to Cam Coleman, which there were multiple of them that Jackson Arnold missed. And here's the thing I keep going back to the Oklahoma thing. I have no problem with Oklahoma trying to run a trick play, like essentially a trick play, taking it to the officials and being like, hey, we're going to do this. Is it cool? And then the officials be like, yeah. Who cares? We're substitute teachers. We don't give a shit. Like, who cares? And then, like, the issue is they're so inept at the officiating part of it that, like, you have someone in the booth that's like, hey, you can't do that. I'm in charge of most of you guys, I think, like, for my title. You can't do that. And then everyone in the field's like, no, we're good. We already approved it, and we saw it happen. So, like, the same thing with the Georgia thing. My issue wasn't whether he crossed the goal line. It was if you called a fumble, then it's a fucking touchdown. Excuse my language. It's a touchdown for Georgia. Like, he ran it back. So, like, that's the issue. It's like they're so inept with how they, like, actually impact the game. It happens so much during games, like, week after week, and I think it's probably not just the SEC, but it's I know that a lot of Oklahoma fans were frustrated with Auburn complaining about that. Auburn had so many moments to win that game, dude. Don't give up 10 sacks. Yeah. Don't give up 10 sacks.
Right. 10? Well, and also you had the ball down, and it was a 1-score game, and all you had to do was go drive the ball and win. Or you could stop Oklahoma from scoring. Right. You had a 1-point lead. If you get a stop, you win. Or you don't get that stop. If you go score, you win. So, like, you had the lead in the fourth quarter. I don't know what more you can ask for on the road against Oklahoma. I get it.
Trevor, remind me one more time. How did that drive end for Auburn?
R. Mason Thomas, the pile driving him into the end zone. That one.
Another sack, and this time it was for 2 points. So it's like,
well, did you rewatch that? How did you see how he basically told the rest of the defensive line, "You guys take this one off. I got it." If you rewatch that play, every other defensive lineman just stands up and, like, stands back. And R. Mason Thomas is like, I'm finishing this game. He blew through the tackle and the running back and sacked him. Like, Go back and watch that play. Make your fiance do it,
I will not do that.
and be like Grayson Holton, one of our interior defensive linemen, was like, "Yeah, man." R. Mason Thomas basically said, like, "Hey, I got it. Don't worry. You guys are good here." And he just called his shot.
I'm gonna hurt my credibility a little bit here, but I'll just be transparent, which is usually where I like to be. I didn't know who that was until the first half of that game, because I just dude, listen, just hear me out here for a second. Media days, I was literally in the process of buying the engagement ring that I was proposing with. We moved to Baton Rouge. I proposed 48 hours earlier. I don't know if you've ever proposed or moved. Hey guys, don't do it within 48 hours of each other. Like just a miserable. How many more things could we have had a kid? Could we have adopted a puppy or a child? Like how many more real life, big moments could we have had in 48 hours? But they were talking about him in the first half, yeah, dude, R. Mason Thomas didn't even come out yet. And I'm like, who is R. Mason Thomas? And then first play or first drive of the second half, I was like, oh, okay. It's right. The letter R, not our Mason Thomas is going to come in here and do this. It was unbelievable, dude. It was unbelievable.
No, he's a monster. He's undersized, but it's the motor, the production, everything's there. Yeah. But also, to your point about SEC officials, it's they often do the thing that does is neither say there's 3 outcomes. They always do the one that isn't possible based on the rules. So the timeout, right? Kirby clapping like this, he was running down the sideline doing this. You either have to, and it was 1 second left on the play clock. You stop the play. You whistle it dead. So either you charge them a timeout or it's a delay of game. It's one of the two. But they're just reset play clock, no timeout charge. I'm like, that's not even possible. That's not a possible outcome for this.
No, and it could have been a bad call. Listen, you could have sat there and had Georgia fans crying afterwards and Kirby crying, no, I was trying to tell them this, and this, but you were doing this. And so
running down the sideline.
In the moment, the ref being no, hold on. You were doing. Guys, stop the play. I'm trying to hear Kirby's emotions and feelings right now. What were you trying to communicate to me? Wild that they did that in the middle of the game. I thought that was insane, dude.
And that's the thing. There's one of 2 options, and you did neither of them. It's similar to Oklahoma Auburn. I was the fumble that got returned for a touchdown. I'm that is either a fumble or he is down. With the video evidence, it shows him down. His left butt cheek is down. And he's got the ball. He's got possession. So it's and they're incomplete pass. I'm that's the only thing it can't be.
The worst part about college football nowadays, and no one seems to really get this. It's not NIL. It's not the transfer portal. I know there's a lot of old people on Facebook I just can't watch it anymore or no more. Usually how it goes with our crowd. I can't watch this no more because they were just paying the players. You're okay, Daryl, you're gonna watch it again next Saturday. But also the worst part is not that. It's there's an official review and someone's in the booth and they're it's an incomplete pass. And then they're in the booth and they're oh, yeah, I saw the replay from 78 different angles. Looks like it's a completed pass. What do you think, McElroy? Definitely completed pass. What do you think, Sean McDonough? Definitely completed pass. What do you think, America? Definitely completed pass. Make sure we fill up social media and Twitter with all of our opinions on it. 12 seconds later. It's a completed catch. First down. This team's awarded 78 points. You're why is this happening?
Yeah, it's I don't get it. And it's frustrating because they're doing the things that aren't even part of the play. And there's my problem is there's no accountability towards it. There's no pool report afterwards that's how did you even arrive at this?
Be accountable.
Right. How did you arrive at this? I'm not even saying I'm not looking for you to get fired or anything like that. Just explain yourself. How did you come to this conclusion that it's an incomplete pass when the only 2 options were fumble or complete pass and down by contact? How did you just no, incomplete? I'm all right, cool. I mean, I guess it benefits us, but it still doesn't make a lick of sense. I mean,
no.
It's it reminds me, I don't know if you guys have seen Tropic Thunder, but when they threw the first alley-oop and he dunks it and they're technical foul. It's no, that's the only thing it can't be.
He threw a pass just above the rim. The other man threw it through the hoop.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
It can't, like, they just panic and they're like, I don't know, technical foul, incomplete pass. I don't know, fumble. It's not a timeout. It is a timeout. Like, I think the most egregious one was the Kirby timeout. I mean, because you can't, it has to either be he called the timeout or a delay of game. It cannot be neither of them. Like, and even the announcers were like, I don't think that's accurate.
We probably shouldn't spend so much time on this, but I will just say the last, or one more thing about it. We can continue on because I have so much to get off my chest about SEC officiating. But it's like the problem is the accountability for one. Dude, I've lost like 4 Twitter accounts in the span of the last 2 years. We can't fucking just tell these people to take a post-game press conference. Like, what are we doing here? I don't need Elon to be in charge of it, but like somebody needs to say something of why they did the thing. The other part of it too is it like there are so many times where it directly impacts a game, whether it's one call, no call, several. Like, listen, Bama went to Tennessee in 2022, 17 penalties for 130 yards. And there's a play at the very end where Kool-Aid McKinstry has an interception. He's 40 yards down the field, and the back judge in the end zone throws a flag for passing. And it's like and that's listen, I bring up that game specifically because that's what kept Bama out of the playoffs that year. And you're talking about a situation now where you have put billions of dollars into your pockets and you're putting $2,500 on the table per game for officials. That's what they are paid per game. These are not year-round employees. They're not annual salaried employees. $2,500. And so it's like, if you've had all these other things that you've put all these resources into, just figure it out. Figure it out.
Well, and also, it's, Kirby brings up the joke. I think it's a joke. SEC refs got FanDuel accounts. Like, as just overrun in the world we are with gambling, sports gambling.
Yeah.
I mean, every single podcast, you look up and it's their sponsored official sports book of this, or you got people tweeting out per this sports book, make your bets. Hey, free bet here. Like, everything is sports bet. Like, if you pay somebody $2,500,
right?
I mean, I'm not saying it's rampant, but you're trying to tell me that nobody has looked the other way on something, or nobody has been influenced by a bet. No, that's crazy. Like, I know Tim Donaghy is the only one that really got caught.
Get more refs. Like, I said this off air to you guys about, like, I played Division II baseball. Like not a high level of baseball. We were really good. We can get into it for the second part of the show if you want. A lot of members. No, I'm kidding. We're not gonna do that, JP. I promise. But like, there was a play we used to run because you'd have a lot of 2-man crews, and it was like, if you're rounding third, cut the bag and go on the in part of of the dirt and cut that part. We called it the cut play, and you end up getting obviously home faster. No one can see it because your eyes aren't paying attention to it. You cannot tell me that like you have enough people on the field seeing everything. If we're seeing Zapruder films from JFK assassinations for the high quality version of what happened in the Auburn Georgia game crossing the goal line, I can't. Anyway, we probably got to stop. My bad.
Yeah, it's a problem.
No, I get it. It very much is. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I'll take this over Big 12 refs because last year, OU and Texas, once that move was announced, we got screwed. So I'm glad to be out of that dumpster fire. Yeah, Texas deserves it.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah. But let's talk a little bit, guys, about obviously this weekend's game. I know we talked about obviously SEC officiating in our previous games. What does each team need to do to win? I mean, based off of what the conversation we've already had today, one of our offenses has to finally show something. Is what I'm getting.
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to start, I'll say one more thing about the refs and also Hooters. Great place to have a 4th birthday. 5th birthday, too much. It's too much. You've outgrown it. You don't want to be there. Kindergarten Hooters, not there. I'm kidding, obviously. The thing with this game, I did not realize that Oklahoma has not scored more than 2 offensive touchdowns in any game against an SEC opponent since they've been in the SEC. Now, if we're being honest, the sample size of that is very marred and skewed because, not to be rude to the players you guys had on the roster last year, but y'all were playing with accountants out there at receiver by game 4. It was like 5 receivers that were down.
Not rude at all.
The offensive line was really bad. It's a very tough situation to overcome that. And people in the SEC especially love to beat their chest about how like, yeah, that's what happens when you come here, blah, blah, blah. Missouri had the same thing happen to them when they first came in the SEC in 2012. They were down 6 offensive linemen by the first start of the season. They were driving around on golf carts trying to find dudes that would fit the body type. This is like, I promise you, this is a real thing. Ask Maggie Johnson. She will tell you for a long time. But this is like a thing that affected Oklahoma last year because of the injuries and the attrition were terrible. I think offensively, you guys are much better in a much better situation than you were a year ago. I also think it can kind of be a little bit of a detriment to how Mateer has played because he's been so good, but we've probably kind of gotten ahead of our skis a little bit, if we're being fair, about how good the offense has been because they beat a brand name like Michigan at home with a true freshman quarterback on the road, and then also an Auburn team, which felt like the eyes of the whole country were in that game. And oh boy. Sorry. So this is the fiance. She's watching the show. But also it felt like the eyes of the country were on that game, and it's not a great Auburn team. I'm worried about Oklahoma because I feel like they've really, really leaned on Mateer way too much to be the only guy. Like Jaden Knott's been disappointing, but I would love to see like more intention in the run game. If you're able to do it. I also feel like this is the first true road game they've been on since they've started the season, which is pretty concerning. You're not going into the most hostile environment since it's a 12:45 kick, but also like there's a lot of concerns here. And I kind of feel like what we know about Mateer, he has a tendency to turn the ball over, not just in the Texas game, but consistently at least once in almost every game so far. So if you can figure out a way to win the turnover battle for South Carolina, you're like 82.3% in terms of winning percentage under Beamer when you are able to win that, or you're at least even. It's down to like 21 or 20% when you are negative in the turnover battle. That's first and foremost. It sounds very cliche, first and foremost. The other part is you have to figure out a way to keep this front four and not our Mason Thomas out of the backfield and keep Lenore Sellers upright because he, like I said, running for his life all season, but also against LSU.
Yeah, I think with our offense, I mean, it was horrid last year, probably the worst offense in OU history. And so I think with a lot of us, it's like, oh my gosh, we can complete a forward pass. Like things are crazy.
Yeah.
Like just moving from what we had last year to this year, even though it's about an average offense, was good. And honestly, we feel that that's kind of all you need to win some games with our defense. Like our defense gave up one offensive touchdown against Texas. It gave one offensive touchdown against Auburn, and I think one against Michigan, but no touchdowns against anybody else. Like at this point in the season, if you've still only given up 3 touchdowns on defense, like you're pretty good. So like
no matter who you played, like you're 6 games in.
Yeah, 6 games in, you're gonna have played somebody by now. So and I think the defense does a good job of preparing to an opponent preparing to a standard and not an opponent. I mean, you see a lot of teams, really good teams, give up like 14 points to an FCS school or like 20. Like we haven't. We've given up 0 touchdowns to Temple, to Kent State, to whatever. Like Illinois State, like 0 touchdowns. So, and the only reason, to your point, any of them got points is because of turnovers in our own red zone, and then they kick field goals. So, or in our own half the field. So, I think if Mateer can hold on to the ball a little bit better, you brought up the turnovers, obviously. I think this defense, I really think it's one of the best in the country. The statistics back it up. Even after Texas, I think we're number 2 in the country in yards per play defense or something like that. Like
211 yards per game.
Yeah, we're still a really good defense. I mean, people were like, and I agree that Arch played well against us. I mean, he made 2 of the better throws that I've seen. He threw for 166 yards against us.
Right.
It was a second.
Like
it was a second
attempts, right?
Yeah, it was a second lowest output of the season. So it's like, and he threw the 1 touchdown. So people even on radio today, somebody hit the text line. They were like, OU, they always make quarterbacks look like Heisman winners. I was like, not this year they haven't. Like in the past they have. But I was like, this year? I said, who's looked like a Heisman candidate this year? And they said, Arch Manning looked pretty good. I was like, he threw for 166 yards. Like, what do we do? What are you talking about? Like,
he just made timely throws. Like the throw.
Like he made timely throws, but like
was crazy.
He wasn't darting you up by any means or dotting you up by any means. But anyways, I think this defense, especially with South Carolina struggles, like I'm hammering the under, whatever it is, I'm hammering the under on it. But I do think Oklahoma is going to take a little bit different approach this time of, hey, we don't need to throw the ball, 40 times, 35 times. Like just try and run the ball, control the clock, trust your defense, put them in good situations. We've got a really good kicker. Like just try and win a game like that on the road, grind one out. You don't have to, you see the stat come out from, Mike of the haven't scored more than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need that to be your goal. Obviously, you want to score as much as you can, but don't go try and score 3 touchdowns on the first possession just because you saw that stat. You know what I mean? Go play your game, protect the ball, play good defense. You're going to be fine.
I think that it's a really good point. I think the only pushback I would give on that is because I think Venables is like more than comfortable playing that game. Like, let's drift out into deep waters. Let's see how far South Carolina's offense can go because it's not very far. So, like, I agree with you on that. I think that the DC and Venables are more than happy being able to go into that mindset. Is Mateer patient enough when they do finally call on him to throw the football to not heat check, press on any kind of throws? Because that is I hate to say it, but like that's the only way, that's the only path for South Carolina to win this game. Like defensively, there's nothing about Oklahoma that gives me confidence that South Carolina is going to right the ship against that unit. Like they have not been able to do it all season for South Carolina. And Oklahoma, to your point, has not been able to, or has not given up a ton of yards, points, or anything in between this season as well. So it's like, I think you're in a good spot if you are patient enough for 60 minutes or maybe even 30 and just like slowly constrict, like the BOA thing, like just slowly constrict on South Carolina's offense and watch them implode. That could be the entire mindset.
Well, and that's what it kind of felt like with Michigan and Auburn, right? It was, hey, look, get a lead, and then late you either have – I mean, obviously they had the game-winning drive against Auburn and then just choked out the Auburn offensive line and quarterback to finish that game. And then Michigan, it was like, okay, like Bryce Underwood's going to have to drive the length of the field against us after we cooked like 8.5 minutes off the clock in the fourth quarter. And it was like –
you don't give that run to Justice Haynes, like, is that game close?
No. Or if, drop touchdown, muffed punt. Like we were terrible. Like, and that's what gave me hope for the season. I was like, man, we just beat Michigan by multiple scores and we played like crap for the most part. Yeah. Like we had that bust and all that kind of stuff. The only problem is we're 6 weeks in and I'm like, can we play good yet, please? Like, can we like I'm sick of being like, well, we would have beat this team by more if we actually played better, which any team can say really. But no, I think, with your point with Mateer, I think Mateer is most comfortable on, the quick out stuff. I mean, he peppers the middle of the field from like 5 to 15 yards, like right over the linebackers. I think he's fine with that. It's just he doesn't want to rip a lot of ones deep. Like Hawkins throws more deep balls than Mateer does in his limited amount of time, throwing the ball for us. But I think Mateer with the quarterback run game, I think he's okay with that. I'd really like to see us shore up our running back room, like our running back rotation. Like we're playing like 4 a game and giving them each like 4 carries. Like it's just silly. Like one of the things that Florida did when they beat Texas was they were like, okay, we need to give our bell cow the ball. Like simple as that. So I'm looking for Oklahoma maybe this week to be like, okay, Torrey Blaylock, you're our best back. You're our guy. Like, go run the ball 25 times.
He's a
Xavier
freshman,
Robinson.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's looked good. He's looked good. I mean, the thing is with Ott, he doesn't want to block anybody, so it's like it limits your playbook. Javonte Barnes, not a dynamic runner, but he's great at blocking. Like, I think Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock are really our best 1-2 punch, really. And Torrey Blaylock has just looked the best, even though he's a freshman. So, you know, and I'm a big fan of, I don't know, like if a guy's got 6 games left in his college career and you're still wondering whether you should play him or the freshman, like I know the warm and fuzzies say play the 6 games left guy so he can go out, you know, with a bang. But I'm sorry, I'm going to invest in the freshman if I'm getting the same production, and just because that's the guy that I'm going to be with next year and the next year and the next year if he doesn't transfer. So, you know, I'd like to see us shore up our running back, because part of the problem is Arbuckle's offense moves nicely with tempo, but they've got to sub so damn much because they're so one-dimensional in their personnel that you get slowed down and all of a sudden you're out of rhythm and you end up going backwards. And that's what I want to see fixed from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Chris, we're known as in the Oklahoma community as sunshine pumpers.
Yeah.
You know, we're called guys that just because we're rational, we don't even say nothing crazy. We don't even, you know, like he said at the beginning of the show, you know, we have some of our own fans on our own show that come on here every week and give us crap because, you know, we defend somebody who is seen widely and in the NFL specifically as one of the best offensive line coaches in the nation.
Right.
Now, we can't. It's frustrating because, you know, we're dealing with a bunch of injuries and we can't describe why we continue to have some of these issues on the offensive line. But what we can tell you is that the guys in the NFL love Bill Beatonville. So take that for what it's worth. What I will say is, as much as we've been called that, I'm starting to get into the doom territory, Trav, on like DeMarco Murray and just what our running back room has been, because this is it's below the standard of the University of Oklahoma, bro. Like it just is.
Well, I will say Joe John Finley has not recruited well, and we're seeing that play out now. We moved a linebacker in, and all of a sudden he's our best tight end. Like, what's going on here? Like, nobody that Joe John Finley has recruited has worked out. So
you guys haven't had a ton of really good tight ends historically. You know what I mean? So it's like that's a joke.
Well, I mean, not under him. I was about to say not under him. He was.
Yeah.
What's funny is I'm like, dude, like if anybody knows, he played tight end for us. It's like, come on, man, like you know what it's about here. But the problem is he was co-offensive coordinator, so he got an elevated salary, and then now he's not any type of offensive coordinator because Arbuckle took over. He's still got that big salary, and I'm like, what are we doing here, dog? So, like, Joe John has not recruited well. We're paying for that right now, and the state of Oklahoma has produced a bunch of blue chip tight ends. Like, Oklahoma doesn't produce a ton of blue chip players compared to a lot of the other states. They've produced tight ends. Like, we've had 3 blue chip tight ends in the last 2-3 classes that Oklahoma should have at least had one of them. They got none of them. So it's
they all ended up at Georgia.
No, one ended up at Arkansas, then Ole Miss. Another one ended up at Kansas State, I think. Anyways, It was it's frustrating because they're in your backyard. Like, come on, you got to bring home one of them, and he just can't do it. And then we get into these issues, and then with DeMarco, he's just dramatic. Like, there's never not drama in his room. Like, there's always a whatever, a guy in a doghouse, or we're rotating all the time, or just whatever. And I'm like, dog, like I would love a Stan Drayton to come on by. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's got a track record of development. And I'm just not seeing it from that room. It's probably worrisome when the freshmen keep on looking like your best back, right? Because it's like last year Xavier Robinson looked like our best back down the stretch, and then this year Torrey Blaylock does. It's like that's multiple freshmen in a row, and you're like, what does that say about our development that the guys that have been in our room for 3 years are not the dominant backs on the team? That seems like it might be a problem. But, it's just we just always hear all this, like what's really going on with Jaden Nutt, what's really going on with Taylor Tatum, what's really going on with this. It's like there's just always something going on in that room that I'm getting asked about.
The fact, I would say it's way less from the outsider looking in. It's way less concerning to have the freshman be taking carries than it is to be like you're still developing running backs, fine. Like that part is okay. But Jaden Nutt came in as a proven commodity. Like he came in as a 1,300-yard rusher at Cal. Like Not that he's going up against great defenses, not that he was like, but that was one of the best backs in the country that no one was talking about. In Oklahoma, I just thought they had, like, everyone talked about Mateer in the offseason and Arbuckle and all that kind of crap. But Ott was the guy that you were like, that if there's someone that's going to take some pressure off that kid and also be a staple in the run game, it should be him. But here's the thing, too, that Oklahoma fans, just to be honest, I feel like that people are forgetting, you guys also lost, like how many players in the portal? It was like 41 or 34. Like it was like it was a lot of players in the portal that were lost after last season.
Part of it, we lost a ton of our wide receivers that sat out basically last year with injuries. So like Andrew Anthony, Jaleel Farouk, Nick Anderson, JJ Hester, Brennan Thompson, like basically all 5 of our top wide receivers last year were all gone. And a lot of them didn't play anyway.
Like if that's 5 out of 35, it'd be like 14.3% of the entire class that left. Like it's still hard to replace all of that, especially after the 6-win season. I think you guys have done a remarkable job of getting players on the field and have an instant like improvement. The issue also still becomes, I think that like if you're gonna run the entire offense around Mateer, do it. But he's also got to be healthy. And I think if you're going into this game, especially, like not looking at any of the other games that have happened, as a South Carolina person, I don't think he got healthier playing 60 minutes against Texas. Like I feel like that's fair. Like I don't think he got like miraculously healed from that. So I wonder what that looks like. And also being the first road game, like how well can they keep it together? I don't think the sky is falling by any means. Like I know that Oklahoma fans are upset, but I'll give you this too as an outsider looking in. Before the season, if I told you were going to lose to Texas, mostly everyone in the fan base would have been like, yeah, all right, they're number 1 in the country going into the year. Arch Manning, I don't know if you heard about that guy, but he's like the second coming of Jesus, really good. So if you lose that game, you were an 11.5-point underdog when the line opened in like July. It's understandable. With how poorly he played and how tethered everyone's perception of was to that team, like everyone assumed they were a terrible team, even though they play really, really good defense. And they were able to figure out a way to stop a kid that was 17 days off surgery. The sky is not falling for Oklahoma. Like you lost to a team that was preseason number 1 with a quarterback that had just had surgery on his throwing hand, not like his left ankle, his right hand. So, I think.
Well, I think that affected some of his vision. And I think it's a good point by you. Because he didn't get the practice time. He didn't get that kind of stuff. Like, I think the ball he was throwing looked fine, but he just was thrown into triple coverage. He was throwing behind receivers, like that kind of stuff. And he even said it. He's like, I wasn't seeing it today. Like my eyes were bad. Like it wasn't what it was supposed to be. And also to your point, like I always thought if you just split Texas and South Carolina, then you're good. Because I think I was like, I'm confident we're going to go 5-0 into Texas. If you're 6-1 on the other side of South Carolina, all of your goals are still in front of you.
Yep.
So, Oklahoma has a chance to do that. Obviously, nobody ever wants to lose to Texas, but it's if you were honest about what you thought the team could be, and you were like, hey, if this team is 8-4, 9-3, that's improvement. And you're 6-1 through 7 games, like, what are you mad about? Like, how are you then? Like, all of a sudden you thought we were going to go undefeated? Like, you thought all of a sudden it was a 12-0 team when you said it was an 8-4 team like a couple weeks ago? Like, how's that work?
And you get Missouri at home. You get LSU at home.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you just alter the perception of what you were looking at, from the timing standpoint, like I don't think there's a ton of rational Oklahoma fans that were with what they were being fed about Texas, what we were all being fed about Texas, that they were like, yeah, we're going to win that game. I don't feel like that confidence really swelled until the past 2 or 3 weeks. And then there was like, no, we can win this game. And then it became, we're going to win this game. Of course we're going to win this game. And Vegas tried to warn all of us. Like Vegas watched that team go to Gainesville and lose, and then still try to warn all of us. And I remember Josh Pate tweeted this the other day. He was like, if he's healthy, Texas is a 1.5 point favorite. If he's not, 5.5. It was never going to swing in favor of Oklahoma. So not saying Vegas knows everything, but it's like, I just think you just kind of readjust and recalibrate like what the goals were. And I think what you said is a really good point where at the start of the season, if you go 9-3, that's a really good year. And that's still very much on the table.
Mm-hmm. Well, that might be a playoff team in the expanded playoff. Like with our schedule, like
take it from us. That's not going to be not going to be 9-3 is not going to get you in the playoff. Trust me.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it, but we can talk about it.
Yeah. Well, South Carolina is the only person on. Obviously, South Carolina's schedule is insane as well. But if you don't mind Kirby, if you lose or if you beat South Carolina, you got the rest of the entire schedule is ranked, and like it's not like Big 12 ranked where everybody's in 21, 24, and 25. Like it's like actual ranked, like top 5. You're like, oh, okay,
yeah,
okay. Well, I guess here we go.
Part of it too that looks at this, it's like, if I'm just being honest again, outside looking in, sometimes you need to be knocked down to the bottom and hit rock bottom before you start. Like, yeah, Kirby, you're wrong. You've been wrong about so many things you've said in the comments tonight. Like emotionally, just I mean,
shocking
about the game for sure, about the team for sure. Your general views on society, I think, could be skewed a little bit if we're being honest. I'm just messing with you, Kirby. I don't know you, but please don't hurt me. No, I think that just from the outside looking in, this program was headed for a really serious gut check. Now, when you guys came in the SEC fans were beating their chests and like, oh, it's different around here, blah, blah, blah. And one of you newcomers is going to feel that. One of you newcomers is going to see that's different. Greg Sankey, I don't know if he got promised a role in 10 Things I Hate About You or 10 Things How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days Part 2, but he got into Texas' back pocket pretty quickly. And he was like, hey, guys, you play Kentucky, you play Mississippi State, you play Florida, you play all these teams, and you'll play all the good teams at home. Oklahoma, good fucking luck, dude. Like, have fun. And so I think when you look at the schedule and the uphill battle you guys had coming into it, that win against Bama last year was a great win and really great to be able to extend the bowl streak and all that kind of stuff. But I think you have some more serious and honest conversations if you lose that game. Mm-hmm. And I think it almost reminds me a little bit of 2021 A&M beating Bama, where it's like, hey, Jimbo's had some pretty big flaws here. We shouldn't overlook all those things because they beat Bama that one night, at home, like when everything went right. Maybe I'm way ahead of my skis on that one, but it just kind of feels like you probably have some more honest self-evaluation, some self-reflection, and looking in the mirror and being like, maybe there's some things that need to change more dramatically across the board without that win.
Yeah, it's what is it called? The regional beta paradox, where it's if you were to
that's what it was. Me and JP were talking about that off air. It's like that's like our whole thing. We talk about that a bunch.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So it's if you were to travel 2 miles, you would drive, but if you were to travel a mile, you would walk. And paradoxically, you would travel 2 miles faster than you would travel a mile. But it's like you have to, like, if things are bad, then you will galvanize to get better. Like if you win 4 games, like, or something like that, like you're like, all right, cool, we need to figure something out. But if you just like live in that like 7-win realm, it's like, okay, it's enough to pass. Donors are still paying money. Like we're still going to bowls, like all that kind of stuff. So it's like there are programs, like I've always thought this about like the professional teams, right, that have drafts. It's like, hey, look, it's better if you tank. You don't want to end up a bubble team every year, in the wild card weekend every damn year, or something like that, where you're just fighting for that 7 through 10 NBA spot, or you're wherever. It's like eventually you have to you trade up and take somebody in the first round, or you just take a swing. Like just know that if you get stuck in that purgatory, you can never get out of it. You're basically like how the Blazers were during the whole like Dame era. It was like you were just never going anywhere. Like you were never winning a title. but like Dame was always gonna, loyal to the grind and not gonna run from the grind and all this. It's like, okay, cool. Well, we're gonna be in the bubble every year, or we're gonna be an 8 seed going and just getting swept every year. Like we're not going anywhere. So that's where I feel like with Oklahoma, like if we would have lost that Bama game last year, who knows? A 5-win team or something like that. Now, if you win 9 games this year, it's a very clear like, look, we made the appropriate changes. We like our offensive coordinator. We had the toughest schedule in the country. Like, just we're moving in the right direction. 2027 class is already getting loaded. But when you're, when you don't elevate from Big 12 stuff, like if you think that you just go 10 wins every single year, like, okay, dog, like that's just not how it works. Like not in the SEC.
What's weird is
like,
that Texas had that mentality and they hadn't been winning 10 games. I also think we should take a second to comment on Kirby's most recent comment about JP's eyes, which is a great comment. They are beautiful. Kirby's got a fantastic comment from Base Kirby here. I don't know how much of an olive branch that was, but I did love the intro to that whole thing. That was great.
Kirby he's our resident man, like comedian. He says some crazy stuff. Sometimes we got put him in timeout, but he also makes us laugh quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie. Let me address this though. We did say that if Brent goes 7-5, we believe he should be done. That was said.
Really?
We never said 8-4. Yes, because seven wins, like it's one game over. It's one game over bowl eligibility, and it for 3 out of his 4 years to have 6. I'm not, with the kids 6-7, right? Two 6-win season and 7-win season is it's unacceptable to the University of Oklahoma. Like you can do that somewhere else, but here that's not going to fly. I don't care who we're playing. You know what I mean? Like that's the reality of it. And of the University of Oklahoma and the fans and the boosters, everything like that. It's not gonna fly. As opposed to like 8 wins. 8 wins is to me the threshold. If he gets to 8 wins, then you feel like, okay, that's improvement. That's cool. 9 wins, potential fringe playoff. 10 wins is playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with this schedule.
Yeah, agreed.
But let's do a score prediction.
Yeah, I got to
see, how we're feeling. I know we're a little bit over an hour out. I want everybody to get to bed on time and everything like that. But let's give some score predictions. Chat, you guys go ahead and put it in there, and I'll put it up on the screen. And then Chris and Trav, let's do that. And then Chris, before we let you go, man, we got one game that we play typically with some guests called This or That. We'll only do 1 or 2 prompts, nothing crazy. Okay. But it's a fun game that we do with our guests.
I love it. And also enjoyed it, dude. I longer than I thought, but I had a great time the entire time. So I appreciate it. Like I would have just, I do have to pee. So like I'm gonna bounce here soon. But I've genuinely enjoyed 2042 is a great pick from Boomer 129. I've genuinely enjoyed being on the show with you guys. Appreciate you guys asking me and all that good stuff. So I view this game like this. I think that South Carolina is going to have a hard time figuring out a way to block this front four for 4 straight quarters. I think they're going to have some wrinkles in the offense schematically up front with the offensive line, even though they could be down 4 starters again. Not great, but they've been bad even with the starters in place. So I don't know how you even gauge what's better or worse at this point, just with how bad they've been. You got to find a way for South Carolina to figure out how to win the turnover battle, probably +2 in this one if you want a chance to win it. You also have to figure out a way to extend drives and make sure you're holding onto the football and not letting Mateer do Mateer things. I thought Mateer was not average against Auburn. He put up 300 yards of offense. I thought he was very low in what his ceiling was. Make him look like that, win the turnover battle, and figure out a way to make that kid's confidence continue on with what it was late in that game against Texas, because it wasn't good then. And like, not a shot at Mateer. I'm just saying that's how you have to win this game, is to make his confidence rattled and shaken very early. In the same vein, you got to figure out a way to make Lenoris have some sort of big plays. They had 27 pass attempts last week against LSU. Only 5 were for more than 10 yards. You have to stretch the field, at least show that you're willing to do it. You're not going to be able to run the football in this defense. No one has. No one probably will. It's not going to happen with the roster you have with South Carolina. I say all that to say I think it's very close in the second half. 27-20 feels like it's too high of a score, but it's what I've been saying all week. So I'll be consistent once again. I'll say Oklahoma wins 27-20.
All right, so I do think that's I think that's a lot of points.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think Oklahoma's offense has been obviously impressive at all, but I think their defense is gonna show up. So I like it 17-13 Oklahoma. So only a 30-point total, but 17-13 Oklahoma does not cover the spread, but they get the win and they get the hell out of Dodge.
What is the spread?
5.5.
5.5.
72% of teams favored by 5.5 points do not cover the spread. And 43% of those teams lose outright. That's a stat that I made up, but I'm pretty sure I read like 13 years ago on Vegas Insider. So there you go. No way those numbers are accurate.
Way to cite your source. I'm probably gonna go with another low scoring game. I'm gonna say that we bounce back a little bit. South Carolina's defense obviously is a good defense. It's not as elite as Texas's is, and so there may be we get John Machir back into some sort of groove. I do get a little nervous because I know that you guys also lead the SEC in interceptions. And so, very opportunistic, and he cannot put it in harm's way. Hoping that with another full week of practice, he's back to how he's played before. And while he's had some interceptions, the majority of them pre-Texas game, actually, if we watch film and everything like that, they're almost easily explainable away because it was a receiver that wasn't doing something else. So, it wasn't just bad throws. Per se, pre-Texas game. Texas game, that it was everything. So my hope is that we, do that. Still going to be a little bit low scoring game, so I'm going to say 20-14. Oklahoma does cover 20-14.
I don't mind that.
At South Carolina.
Oklahoma softball just went final with their scrimmage against Oklahoma Christian. They won 35-0. So we just want a football team that our softball team can be proud of around here, man.
Yeah,
so
that's good. That's good.
Okay, Chris, here we go. Real quick.
We could do 3. Let's do 3, but for real, I got to get that.
I need to get you to that bathroom. First one is a staple. Trav's probably sick of me putting it up here because he's like, JP, you do this all the time. But it's a classic. Flats or drums. Yeah, you have to choose. This is
a good one.
You have to choose.
Flats. I feel like you get more meat on flats.
What'd you say?
I feel like you get more meat on flats. So first off, I'm not a sauce guy. I hate ranch. I don't like blue cheese. This is gonna sound like we're making jokes about this type of thing. Any sort of white sauce besides Caesar's not for me. I've always hated ranch. It's the least white trash thing about me. I just don't enjoy it. And so for actual wings, I feel like I'm not dunking them into anything, and I feel like flats is the answer here.
Yeah, I feel like it's better meat, and also like with a drum, if you're dipping it, you're dipping like the cartilage. Like you're not even dipping like the actual
Trav, hold on. I love you to death. So I gotta pee. We can't be talking about wing cartilage right now. We cannot. We gotta zip through this.
So flat better meat. The drums are for people who need a handle on their food.
Put right back into it. Okay. All right. We got 2 more.
2 more. All right. Since we're obviously just post this game this week, and obviously I'm putting you in a hard spot right here.
Okay.
But Iron Bowl or OU Texas? What's the better game?
OU Texas. It usually matters more. And also,
yep.
Like here's the thing that you guys will never experience, I don't think, from OU Texas. I grew up in a Bama household. I am engaged to an Auburn grad. Better fan base, better looking fan base. They all went to school there. There's so much to love about Auburn, for sure. it's just the Baptist version of Texas A&M. Like it's still a cult. It's just nicer, and the girls have blonde hair instead of wearing overalls. Like the girls at A&M look like Icebox from Little Giants. The girls at Auburn don't look like that at all. And so I think that they're both great rivalries, but like the one thing about the Iron Bowl is that like Auburn had like a 6-year run where they won 6 in a row when I was like from I think 90 or 2002 to 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, every win they've had has been a miracle. And it's why you'll see it every year in the offseason from ML football. Remember that time of the Iron Bowl in 2013? Yeah, bro. We know you do. It's a scheduled tweet every month. We got it. So
Right.
it's not a better game. That's a bucket list game to go to OU Texas.
Yeah. We agree with that, obviously, but interested to hear.
All right, what's the last one?
Last one, since he's a baseball guy, one of the baseball ones we have on here. Ankle pants or knee pants when you were playing?
First off, is it socks up or socks down? No, it's knees. It's knees. We weren't allowed to do it when I was in college for some reason. Both look great, but I was a socks up type guy. I was not a stirrups guy. I thought that was always for weirdos. It was for leadoff hitters and 8-hole kids that could only hit it for the 5-6 hole left-handed. I don't think that was like where I was at. So it's knee high. I'm growing up in Atlanta. Chipper Jones was my dude. So yeah. I had to go with that for sure.
Yeah.
That's all we watched on what TBS. Anyways, the Glavin Smoltz, Rocker, Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, all these
Rocker,
guys. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
The fact that guy was allowed in front of a camera in any time was just unbelievable. And it was just like they want to do a whole interview with him at Sports Illustrated. They were like, yeah. Like, who was working PR for the Braves? They were like, you want to take him for a full day and let him have his unhinged thoughts? Yeah. Sure, dude. Yeah. Of course. You want to print it afterwards? Why not?
All right. Well, we'll let you go use the restroom. And we appreciate you guys joining, and we appreciate everybody in the comments that hung out with us. We'll do it again next week. Let's go win a football game. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Well, we'll see you
guys. Appreciate you.
Boomer.